Hey everyone, welcome to Wheels on the Bike. I'm Agnieszka. Hello to all my new subscribers. I appreciate you joining the community. I'm in a new location today, and that's because I've been prepping for a multi-month bicycle tour. It's the very first multi-month tour that I will be going on, and I've been doing all the things, so many things. And in this video, I want to share with you what I've been doing to get myself ready, or as ready as possible, for this trip. So if you're interested, come along. It all started with a very small yet persistent idea. What would it be like if I went on this adventure? Well, once I had the idea in my mind, I watched a few videos. So I watched One Less Cars videos, Wandering Eye Outdoor Adventures videos, Woman in the Woods, George Lockett. So the idea started taking shape a little bit, but it was still very much of an idea of how fun would it be to do this. And as the idea started developing, I decided that it would be worthwhile for me to upgrade some of my gear. So I did end up getting a new tent, which I tested out for the very first time the other day. I have a lot to learn. And I also upgraded my sleeping system, specifically my sleeping bag. I needed something a little bit warmer in case I got into a colder climate. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from the tent. I was testing out my gear last night. This was the very first night I spent in the tent with my new sleeping bag. It was pretty low in single digits yesterday. I'm not sure how cold it got, maybe 5 degrees Celsius, maybe 6 degrees Celsius. The bag is rated pretty low, but I was using my insert. Let me show you that. There you go. So it's a thermal insert, and yeah, I was quite warm. So all in all, a good test of my kit, and yeah, and I hope to use it in this coming touring season. The next thing I did is I made some upgrades on my bike, but I already told you about those in a different video, so I will link that video in the description below. The next thing I tried to do was to rent out my condo. The first time I tried renting out my condo, crickets. Nobody was interested. But very recently, it just all came together and it all worked out for the very absolute best, and I found the best tenants possible. Oh yeah, I should address this, right? I got a haircut. That's another thing that I did because who has time to worry about hair when you're on a multi-month tour? Not I. The next thing I did is I asked my employer for a leave of absence, and I was absolutely expecting for a no, you can't have 5 months off answer, but I'm glad to report that I was wrong. My employer is supporting me with this trip, and I was granted a leave of absence. So being able to come back to a job after I've significantly depleted my savings is something that makes me super happy because financial stability is important to me. Once I secured my tenants and I secured the time off from work, it was now time for me to get my flight. I booked a flight, and then I also looked on the airline's website to find out exactly what I needed to do to be able to travel with the bike. So in my instance, I actually had to call the airline, give them my booking number, and identify that I will be traveling with the bike so that they can account for it. I've never traveled with a bike. I've never boxed up the bike for travel, so it remains to be seen how that process goes. But amazingly for me, my parents went ahead and got me a bike box. So I have a bike box sitting in the basement, and I will be packing up my bike, well, in the next few days. The next consideration I had to make was whether or not to get travel health insurance. Because I'm going to be traveling and riding my bike outside of my province of residence, hint, hint, I looked into options of either carrying my work benefits, paying into that, or just purchasing an annual travel insurance. And the annual travel insurance, medical insurance, and trip cancellation insurance ended up being a lot more cost effective for me. And so I went ahead with that option. Because I was so on the fence about this decision, I consulted others who had done this trip, asking them whether or not they thought it would be beneficial to get insurance. And some people said, yeah, and they shared their stories as to why they thought so. And other people said, what insurance? What health insurance? I just rode my bike. So at this point, you may be wondering, what are you doing, Agnieszka? Just tell us what you're doing. And well, this summer, I'm going to be riding my bike across Canada. So I've decided to take this challenge on. I am incredibly excited, incredibly nervous, incredibly excited. But this is something that I've been thinking of doing for quite some time now. And it's very doable. Other people have done it, so why can't I, right? The next thing I did is, well, I moved out. So I'm currently in my empty-ish apartment. I have a few more boxes to tuck away, and not much I can say about it aside from the fact that I'm really quite excited about having all of my belongings stored in 4 panniers. What I've been doing all throughout is also trying to plan my route. I've been looking at what routes people have taken, and I have a pretty good idea of where I want to go. So I have planned out my route for one of the provinces, but I also want to be cognizant of the fact that there's going to be a lot of meandering, a lot of potential obstacles that I want to turn into opportunities. I don't want to overplan things. I certainly don't know how much distance I'm going to be able to cover every day, so I want flexibility on that. I want to give myself an opportunity to ride as far or as little as I can. I have 5 months, which is plenty of time, and I hope that I will be able to explore as much as possible, ride as much or as little as I want each day, and just thoroughly enjoy the experience. That is what I'm hoping to get out of this trip. To see the country, to enjoy the experience, to open myself to new and exciting opportunities, to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and to just have an open mind to whatever lies ahead. I look forward to all of it. If you've gone on a multi-month tour, let me know what other changes or considerations you've made to your life, to perhaps your setup, etc. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your time. As per usual, comment, like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.